Hey there, folks, and good evening. Welcome to our event today, Hungry Pants. We are with Hungry Pants. We are going to be making black bean patties today with Alex, the owner of Hungry Pants, a vegetarian, vegan, curious restaurant here in Orlando, south of downtown. If you haven't been, it is absolutely fantastic, and you should totally check it out. I will be bringing Alex on in just a moment here, but I just wanted to go through some last minute things. This project was made possible in part by the Institute of Museum and Library Services, and it is also a part of our greater Big Read series. Today's event was brought to you by the NEA Big Read, which is a program of the National Endowment of Arts in partnership with Arts Midwest. This year, the Orange County Library System, in partnership with Valencia College, celebrates the book Lab Girl by author Hope Jaron. We have tons of really cool events that are coming up until April 24th. So if you haven't signed up for those events, please check them out at ocls.info/bigread. There's quite a few more great events coming up in the next week, and we'd love to see you all there virtually. But without any further ado, let me bring on Alex from Hungry Pants. Alex, hey, how you doing?
Hey, how are ya?
I'm
Long
doing
time no
pretty
see.
well. Yeah, thanks and welcome back. Yeah, last time we loved having you here, and we really appreciate you coming back for our Big Read series. So thank you so much.
Well, thanks for inviting us back. We had a really fun time last time. Joey and I always like to do things like this when we're working together. Today he doesn't get to join us, so hopefully that it'll be just as much fun. Um, I'm actually really excited too because we have you down at the restaurant this time. So last time we were in our kitchen, broadcasting live from our house, and this time we're here at the restaurant. So yeah, we're Hungry Pants. We're located in Soto on South Orange Avenue, just south of Michigan. We are a plant-curious restaurant, and I'm really excited to share this recipe with you. It's our house-made black bean burger that we serve here in the restaurant, and I'm going to scale down the recipe for you so that everyone can make it at home. And of course, if you have a question before you make the recipe and you want to try it out, you can always join us here in the restaurant and make sure you like the product before you go through all the steps. So, without further ado,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, thank you all so much for coming. I'm really excited and happy to have you to come. So thank you very much. I'll leave it up to you and let you get started.
awesome. Thanks so much. So we're going to start our black bean burger. It's a multi-step process. For those of you at home, this is a great recipe to work through when you have brown rice or quinoa, some sort of grain that's left over from a couple nights before. It's good to kind of make a little extra and reserve some in the refrigerator. This recipe specifically requires a few different ingredients. Some of those ingredients we're going to make through here in preparation to make the patties, and then some of those ingredients you're going to want from previous dinners. So we are actually going to use a canned black bean. We're going to use short grain brown rice. It's better to have a second day, like 1 day old, short grain brown rice. It gets a little bit stickier and will help with the composition of the actual black bean burgers. Cooked red quinoa. We're going to use our cilantro aioli, which I'll walk you through those steps on how to make a really beautiful cilantro aioli. We actually use that in the interior of the black bean patty to help with binding and add flavor. We're going to use cumin, coriander, smoked paprika, panko. We actually use a gluten-free panko here at Hungry Pants, so the patties are actually inherently gluten-free for all of our people with gluten allergies or celiacs. We're going to use roasted red peppers, and we're also going to use some salt. So for those of you that have some salt sensitivity, you can always back that out. Also, if you have specific preferences when it comes to flavor profile, you can always add some of the spice mix. This is what we like here at Hungry Pants. But the cool thing about this recipe is it's a really great base recipe, and you can build on it based on how creative you want to be. So I actually have everything set up currently in our prep kitchen here at Hungry Pants. I've got our food processor where we'll actually be making the patties. Come on along with me. I've got our cutting board, black beans, brown rice, quinoa, our gluten-free panko. I went ahead and measured out. I roasted off some red peppers already. These are red bell peppers, and again, portion that out for our recipe. I'm going to scale this recipe to 5 patties. This is some nice, fresh, clean cilantro, garlic cloves, salt, pepper, some fresh lemon juice. At home, I'm sure you probably are going to go ahead and squeeze some lemon. Again, I'll walk you through how we make the cilantro aioli. You might want to do it a little bit differently. If you like lemon or citrus, you can always add a little bit more, back it out. It's up to you. That's the fun part about cooking. So again, these are just some base recipes for you to play around with. Okay, so first things first, we're going to need to make a cilantro aioli for the dish because that's going to be what we're going to bind the patties with. And that's also going to be something that we're going to actually put on the bread for flavor after we bake off the patties. So it's a really nice, fresh, clean flavor. Aioli's really pretty simple. We're going to need to get some. We use a veganese here at Hungry Pants. All of our sauces are inherently vegan. We find that it's easier to make sauces that are vegan, and we can serve it to all of our vegan and non-vegan customers rather than making something that's dairy-based. So we use the veganese brand. It's actually soy-free as well for anybody that has a soy allergy or intolerance. That's something that we make a conscious effort with. This batch of aioli, we're going to go through and make with, it's going to yield about a third of a cup of the aioli, and that's going to be enough for our recipe. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a bowl here. Start out by mincing some garlic. Obviously, mincing garlic, you can always throw it into your food processor. Sometimes at home, when it's only eight things of garlic, I'll go ahead and mince it myself by hand. It's just a little bit easier for me rather than going through and using some sort of device at home that requires more cleaning than it does the actual use of the device. So you're going to go ahead again, just mince your garlic nice and fine. For those of you that, I know there's a lot of people out there that actually don't like garlic. Sometimes there's some sensitivity. We do use a lot of garlic in our sauces and in our recipes. And we do use a lot of raw garlic. I know a lot of times that's what kind of causes the food sensitivities. And that's becoming a much more prominent issue nowadays with the way people eat. I just find that garlic is something that adds so much flavor, especially when you're cooking dishes that are plant-based. Plant-based dishes can be a little bit challenging to keep healthy and clean, but also continue to give lots of flavor to the dish. So this is 8 cloves of garlic that I'm going to go through and mince. The 8 cloves of garlic, like I said, I'm a big garlic fan, so you can always back some of that out if that's not really your thing. You could use a garlic powder. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not cheating. Garlic powder, of course, is something that is, we actually use that in some of our sauces. For our aioli, though, I kind of feel like there's nothing better than like fresh minced garlic. So while we do that, the next step in this recipe is going to be 8 tablespoons, approximately, of lemon juice. Like I said, we do a lot of lemon juice. So I use this really cool lemon juice. It's not from concentrate. It's pre-squeezed. We just do so much volume here at the restaurant when it comes to fresh squeeze. We were actually originally hand squeezing every lemon when we first opened, and that got old real quick for all of us. So we moved on, moved on and up to this really beautiful. This is Paracone Farms. We get this from our local produce distributor, but it's got a really ton of good flavor, and you know, nothing wrong with some lemon. So we're going to go ahead and take the garlic. You can mince this down even further if you like. I'm going to go ahead for our sake here, just add it to the bowl. We're going to go through, do about 8 tablespoons lemon juice. Real simple. A little salt and pepper to taste. I'm always a salt and pepper fan. Actually, it's funny, my cousin, who is a chef, and I have to tell you, I'm not a chef. I like to call myself a culinarian, but I'm definitely not a chef. I didn't go to school for it. But, she's actually not that into super high salt foods, but she's like, man, Americans, you gotta cook with salt, salt and pepper. That's what it's all about. So, all right. So the cilantro, we actually weigh it out here at the kitchen, but for our purposes, I went ahead and washed all the cilantro. Always make sure you wash your leafy greens, whether it's going to be herbs or let's say kale or romaine. You never know what's on those leafy greens, and if you're going to be eating it, you know, especially if there's pesticides or bugs, whatnot, just make sure it's really super clean. I went ahead and did this way. I don't think you guys need a tutorial on how to wash cilantro. And you're going to go through and just pick it. The less amount of stems on this, the better. The stems can definitely kind of get in the way if you don't have a food processor or something that can really mince it down super fine. Then you're going to want to be a little bit more detailed about it. So I have cilantro. We usually go for about 1/10 of an ounce to an ounce, just depending on how much you like cilantro. I understand there's actually a lot of people that don't like cilantro, and it's funny because since opening Hungry Pants, I actually learned a lot about people and just like their own flavor profiles and stuff. Apparently, for some people, cilantro tastes like dirt, which is funny. I love the flavor. You could always omit the cilantro, and aioli really is just about garlic and mayonnaise, right? So, and lemon. So you can, like I said, I'm into the cilantro flavor. I'm also into seeing what's in the actual sauce. So for our purposes at the restaurant, you're always going to see flakes of fresh cilantro in the sauce. It's never going to be dried. That's just something that we, you know, if we had the option to do something with fresh, then that's what we're going to use, a fresh ingredient. Quality food, quality in, quality out. So go ahead and add your cilantro. You're going to add your mayonnaise, give it a little mix, and your end result, magic of TV, will actually be this beautiful cilantro aioli. You can see we actually did this previously in a restaurant. We actually use the food processor to do ours. This way we kind of get it a little bit more fine. It helps blend the flavor into the sauce better, gives us a more consistent product. But at home, really simple process to do by hand. As long as you're good with a knife and you can chop and you can take your time to go through and mince garlic and cilantro, not a big deal, right? So this is actually a pre-measured 1/3 of a cup of the cilantro aioli. So we have your components. We have some pre-cooked red quinoa that we had left over from the night before. We have some brown rice, again, from the night before, so it's got a little bit of a texture. I don't know if you can really how well you can see that, but we want it to have that stickiness that will help with these patties binding. And we do use canned black beans. I'll tell you what. Before we opened the restaurant, we actually were experimenting, and I just said quality in, quality out, right? I was really into doing the black beans from scratch, right? So having them overnight, doing them in a pressure cooker, really just kind of give a high quality. This bean burger is actually better with a canned bean. It actually works even better. So the other thing you can do with these patties specifically, if you didn't like black beans and you like pinto beans, I mean, you can totally swap it out as a one-for-one swap out. So this here is a, a pound and a half of black beans. They've been drained, they've been washed and drained, and they're now, just sitting in the bowl ready for us to start our work. So what we're going to go ahead and do first is we're going to pulse the beans. So a couple things on the construction of the patties. I think it's really important. At Hungry Pants, we really don't do any of the fake meats or the fake cheeses. It's not really our thing. We really feel like if you're going to eat plant-based, you should eat, super clean plant-based foods. If I'm telling you this is a black bean patty, you should see some black beans in it. That's the idea. We're not going to emulate a meat product. If this isn't a meat, a meat factory, we're trying to do something that allows you to appreciate what the ingredients are. Black beans are something that most of us kind of convene on. Hence, we did a black bean patty. So for these black beans, we're going to go through. It's a pound and a half. We're going to pulse them, and we're going to pulse them for the most part until we don't want to pulse them down to a paste. What happens is if you pulse them too far and you start to like liquefy the bean, you're gonna lose some of that structure. And these patties are better when they're formed. It's better to form when you can still see components of each item. So when you're pulsing this pound and a half black beans, you're gonna pulse it literally to a semi-broken down black bean. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these pulsed. I always am a little bit conservative when it comes to making the black bean patties, especially when you're using the food processor, because once you break something down too far, you can't go back. You can't put it back together. So it's better to take a few pulses, make sure that you kind of release the beans off the edges. Tell you what, if anybody, I'm sure everybody at home has a food processor. If you don't, you definitely should invest in it. There's a lot you can do with it. Like I said, we use it a lot for our sauces. We use it a lot for our veggie patties here. We make our own tempeh sausage in-house, so we use that to break down the foods as well. Not everything. I'm sure we could do it all with the chopping, but this makes it much faster. So we're going to go ahead and then pulse the brown rice into this. So one of the things I'm going to do right now is actually separate this out. Typically at the restaurant, I would go through and pulse all together, but I want to show you what the consistency of the brown rice is that we're looking for. The thing about it is the brown rice, like I said, day-old brown rice gets kind of sticky. And that's a good thing in this scenario because it's going to be a part of what binds the patty together. Sometimes when you are going through and using the food processor and you're blending it all together, if you don't do everything in the correct chronological step, you're going to start to lose some of the structure of each component. So we're going to go ahead and put the brown rice in here. Give that a pulse. And I'll show you the texture that we're actually looking for on this. So brown rice, we use a short grain brown rice here at Hungry Pants. Brown rice in general is inherently smaller pieces. So pulsing it down, all you're doing is releasing some of the wetness from inside the grain that has been held over. You're going to start to see on the inside of the bowl, you're going to start to see some of this gook on the side. That's some of the brown rice that's been broken down a little further than some of the stuff that's still intact. But I don't know how well you can see this on this camera, but it literally is, you can see where it starts to kind of hold on to the other grains, and that will help. like I said, help with the consistency. So, all right, so we pulsed down our brown rice, which is a good thing. We're going to go through and add back the black beans. We're going to start to pulse that. If you bring the camera over here, you're going to see where it starts to, you can see some of this black bean, how it's broken down. You can still see some of the husks and the skins of the black bean. That's a good thing. And at this point, we're going to hang on for a second. We're going to come back. We're going to add in all of our spices, and then we're also going to go through, we're going to break down our red peppers. I have about, I think for here, what did I pull? I pulled 1.3 ounces, so I weighed everything. But for those of you, it's about a half a red pepper roasted. So most people, you know, I don't know if everybody has a red pepper at home, but buy red pepper, you'll be fine. Roast it off. Before that, you get some really pretty color to it, and it just sweetens it up. This we're going to go through, give it a little bit of a chop so that it incorporates a little better into the burgers. We can incorporate that. I don't like to go too small on that because, again, I want to see the red peppers in the patties. What's the fun of cooking with vegetables if you can't actually see what the components of what you're making? So this is our coriander. It's ground, dried coriander. I'm going to do a teaspoon of this. You could do a little more, a little less. Remember, any spices that you add in are going to, they might have to be balanced out with aioli. So there's this whole balance of dry and wet ingredients when you're cooking. And it's funny, we used to own a business called Yum Yum, the Yum Yum truck, and we used to bake, and I always equated everything to really simple. It's either going to be a wet or a dry ingredient. So if you put too much dry ingredients in there, like a spice, you might need to counterbalance it with a little bit more of your wet ingredients, like your aioli. But if you're following this recipe to a T, you don't even have to worry about that because it should be a well-balanced recipe to begin with. So this is our cumin. I love cumin. It's a great flavor. It has I don't know, for these patties, it's interesting because you're getting this garlic, you're getting this lemon, the cilantro, some cumin, coriander, paprika. It has like a really nice, almost got like a Southwest flavor profile to it. That's something that I really personally enjoy. And then some smoked paprika. If you have regular paprika, that's okay. The smoked paprika, it's kind of darker and deeper in color. It's got a little bit more of a dynamic flavor to it. It's a really fun thing to cook with. You can do a lot with it, so it's great in the patties. So I was talking to you a little bit about the gluten-free panko. So panko, obviously you can get all different types of panko. Panko is just a breadcrumb, right? It's an Asian breadcrumb. We use an unflavored panko. It's also a gluten-free panko. Again, we try to, Hungry Pants is that like kind of awesome gem of a place where you can come in with 6 people that have all different eating habits or needs and sit at the same table, order off the same menu, and not have to make a million modifications. So we inherently use a gluten-free panko just so that we are serving our gluten-free or gluten intolerance customers without having to make significant modifications. So this, again, the measurement on this is 4.8, basically 5 teaspoons of panko. I'm going to go ahead and add that in as well. We're going to add the quinoa, the red quinoa, and final ingredient. This is a third of a cup of aioli. And you're going to pulse all that together. You're going to find with the food processor, it's going to stop combining everything. So this recipe isn't super wet. You want to keep it dry in order to keep some of the integrity of the shape of the actual patty. So we're going to pulse it down a little bit more. That's going to get this to the bottom, kind of really broken down. The top of the bowl on the food processor, that's going to keep some of that stuff a little bit more intact. Again, if you have a preference of kind of breaking things down even further, you can certainly do that. I'm not as, I know there's people out there that are texture eaters. I'm not one of them. I can eat something that's broken down or that has a million components in it. It'll still be enjoyable to me. So again, this is an area where you can just modify to your own preference. So, final step here in combining this. We're going to get this out into our bowl. Okay, so you can see what I broke it down to. Not complete. You can still see that there's definitely black beans in there. You can still see the red peppers. There's going to be flavor in every bite, and that's a great thing. Okay, so let me just get this workstation cleaned up for a second, and I'll take you through how we go through and portion. I was telling you that this is a recipe that will yield about 5 patties. And those patties are going to be anywhere from 5 to 6 ounces. So at Hungry Pants, we use a scale. At home, you might not have a food scale, and that's okay. I'm going to show you 2 different methods to portion this out that allow you to be successful in creating these or a consistent product. So these are actually, this is a nylon cutter set. It's really a biscuit cutter. They're really handy to have in your kitchen. You can see they're all different sizes. You can use them for cookies. You can use them for biscuits. And as a matter of fact, I've had this since we owned the Yum Yum truck. And now at Hungry Pants, somehow I still have the same set. And I'm using them for veggie burgers. So they take a lick if they keep on ticking. All right, so for our scaled out veggie patties, it's going to be a really simple process. Anybody that has an ice cream scoop at home, you know, these are portioning scoops in a kitchen, but maybe at home it's just an ice cream scoop, and that's okay. That'll help you with kind of handling the food. The other thing is, give me one sec. Some cooking spray. It just helps to release the patties after baking it. You're going to spray your pan liner. I always use some sort of pan liner to help release the food from the pan. It makes it an easier cleanup. Go through. The other trick too, if you want to get a really consistent patty and you're cooking for other people, you can spray the inside of your biscuit cutter or what you're using to form the patties with, and that'll help release the this kind of sticky black bean patty from the cutter. I should mention we chose specifically this size cutter because we actually use all vegan bread at Hungry Pants, and we're really proud. We've been using Old Hearth Bakery since we've opened. Old Hearth, they're awesome. They do such a beautiful job. These are white buns that are vegan, and we sized this patty specifically for the size of the buns that we purchased from them. So go through, scoop out until you get to about 6 ounces. Really simple. You can see the 6 ounces there. I'm going to put on a glove so I don't mess my hands up too much. I know at home you probably don't have necessarily cooking gloves, but for the restaurant and for sanitation purposes, it's always good to have a pair of gloves. This can get a little bit messy because it's so sticky. So once I measure out to 6 ounces on the scale, I press down on the form, and then I release it. Really simple. Press. You can also just press, release. Okay, so my other option for you guys at home, if you don't have a food scale and maybe you're not striving for a perfect portion, is these scoops all have a specific volume. So this is a 2-ounce scoop. So really simple. You can go through. Two scoops, hand form them. If you've sprayed your paper, you can see you can get a pretty good formation on your burger. So again, the most important part of forming your burgers is going to be that they're the correct size for the bun. So I'm going to go ahead. Scoop the rest out for you real quick. You can go bigger, smaller, whatever you like. All right. Once you have your burgers formed and panned, the next step is going to be to bake them. So our burgers, it's a 2-step process. We actually bake them off for 20 minutes. And what that allows us to do is it starts to bake it all together and make it like one solid burger. Allows us to handle it at the restaurant. You don't want them to be too moist. Like it's not going to lose all of its moisture by baking it for 20 minutes. If you were to go straight from here right onto a grill, if you have a grill like a flat top, they'll start to fall apart. That's a lot of times a step that people miss when they're trying to make plant-based burgers or bean-based burgers at home. For us, really simple trick, throw it in the oven, pre-bake it for 20 minutes. The other cool thing about that is you can take them out of the oven and let them cool. You can wrap each one, freeze them, and then you can have them for future. Pull them out later and put them in a frying pan and cook them up and use those for future quick dinners, right? So we're going to go ahead. We're going to throw these in the oven. I bake these at 350, 20 minutes. Set your timer. Set it, forget it. Come back in 20 minutes. But of course, magic of television. We have some burger patties already done. This way we don't all have to sit here and wait for 20 minutes. So our composition for our burger at the restaurant, or veggie burger at the restaurant, and like I said, there's a million things you could do with this, but I'll show you how we choose to serve it. It's really fantastic. So I highly encourage you to to do it. Hey Amber, can you pass me a bottle of aioli from the front? Thank you. So we have our white buns, vegan white buns from Old Hearth Bakery. Not that this is a pitch for Old Hearth Bakery, but you can get Old Hearth Bakery over in Audubon Park. Um, they have a storefront there. They actually distribute at other supermarkets. So thank you. So go ahead, cut your bun. Funny, I probably should have pre-cut these for you guys, but that's okay. So we actually go through and we grill it on the grill. This way it's a nice, crisp, flat burger. For you guys at home, I would definitely recommend that. You could toast it in the oven, get a nice toast on it. When we go through and we build our burger, we do a little aioli on top, throw your patty, really simple. And then I'm a huge fan of arugula. I think it's really beautiful, a really beautiful green. And I love a pickle. Pickle is so good for you. It's actually really good for your digestion. That's like a little secret healthy thing that we sneak into most of our dishes here at Hungry Pants. It's also beautiful. So we have some beautiful pickled onion that we can go through and add to the dish. And voila, that's your veggie burger. Minus the toasted bun. That's your veggie burger. Really simple, beautiful meal to make. Like I said, great for, it's a great simple process to do ahead and have these frozen and pull out later when you're in a rush and you want to eat something super clean. These are clean, just that little bit of veganese in there. Otherwise, everything else is something that you're going to find that grows out of the ground. So that's our veggie burger, black bean veggie burger. I hope you guys come join us here at Hungry Pants. Try ours. You can always add some shiitake bacon or something fun to that and really soup it up. But that's what I got for you, Josh.
That was fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm sorry about this. I don't know what's happening with our mics, but we do have a question in here. I'm going to pop it up on the chat. Hold on one sec. It says, hi, this is from Claudine. Hi, how much veganese do you use? I'm assuming this is for the aioli.
I probably didn't. I used for this about 2 fluid ounces. So let's say for the actual black bean recipe, you're going to look for about 1/3 of a cup of aioli, plus what you're going to want to put on your bun. So that being said, if you're going to do 5 patties, you need 1/3 cup of aioli, right? So at least 1/3 cup there. And then you're going to need whatever sauce you're going to put on the bun. So I would say if you scaled up your aioli to about a full cup of aioli, you should be fine there, and that'll kind of give you a little spare sauce.
Sorry about that. We also, Claudette, who just commented, loves Hungry Pants, fabulous food, atmosphere, and staff. Also from Shannon, hi, this is the best thing, my favorite people. And if anyone else has any questions, please post those in the chat. We can get to them. But yeah, thank you so much for this great recipe, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really fun to share. So.
We absolutely love having you guys here at the library. But I don't see any more questions in the chat. But please check out Best Food in Town from Marta. It is fantastic. It doesn't matter if you're if you're vegan, vegetarian, a full-on carnivore, you'll love the food there. It's all super creative, really great. I mean, the sauces are great. All of the different, alternatives that you can use are fantastic. And yeah, just a really great restaurant and a great location in town. So thank you so much.
No, thanks again for having us on here. It's really fun for us to share our food, and yeah, it's clean food, it's flavor forward. So we'd love to have you guys here at Hungry Pants.
And we posted in the comments there, but let us know what you think about today's event. We have a survey. If you loved it, which I'm sure that you did, Alex, did a fantastic job. Please fill out that survey. We will. We'd love to see your feedback, see what you would like to see, and if you want Hungry Pants back, that's a great place to tell us. So, yeah, thank you again. We also had one more question from Ronald. Sorry, I guess this was in swapping for the black beans. Can lentils also be used? I know you mentioned pinto beans.
Yeah, lentils could be used. The only thing I would say with lentils, or again, lentils you're probably going to be cooking. If you got, I mean, there's canned lentils, but you might be cooking that from scratch. No matter what, you just want to watch your water content in your beans. The thing about canned beans is they're not complete. They're kind of not completely waterlogged when they're cooked. There's like a consistency to them when they can them. So with lentils, the other thing is scale of bean, right? So we do this specific recipe kind of walked you through in the food processor. But truthfully, with lentils, you're not going to have to break them down as much. So I would even say if you were going to swap out lentils, might break down half of the lentils and leave the other half whole, reserve the other half, and then kind of mix it all together. This way you're not creating a paste out of it.
Awesome, great tip. And I think you mentioned this earlier, but at the restaurant, are these patties served only with wheat buns? I know you mentioned where you got them, but if you want to give them a shout out one more time.
Oh yeah. My shout out to our friends at Old Hearth Bakery. They're actually white buns, but they're vegan white buns. It's just a classic hamburger bun. It's really the way a burger should be served.
Are those buns gluten-free or with gluten?
They're not gluten-free. So we actually at the restaurant now offer gluten-free alternatives. So we buy bread from our friends over at the Land Bakery. So we always have gluten-free options. Also, to make it gluten-free, you could always put it on a bed of arugula. So we could go completely breadless. I know that's often a popular choice for some people.
Thank you very, very much. And I think that does it for the questions tonight. Thank you again, Alex and Hungry Pants. We really appreciate you coming out. Check out all of our other events throughout this NEA Big Read series at ocls.info/bigread. We've got some other great events coming up, as well as some more vegetarian, plant-based cooking. So please check those out. But yeah, thanks one last time. And anything else to plug or anything like that, Alex?
No, we just hope to see everybody in the restaurant. Please feel free. Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Eat Hungry Pants is the tag, and then of course our website, eathungrypants.com. You can order online, and we're also available through Uber Eats, DoorDash, and other delivery partners. So we look forward to seeing everybody.
Fantastic. Thanks again. We shared that link for the website in the chat, so if you haven't seen that, click on it, check it out, and all the links for the Facebook and all the social medias will be on there. So yeah, let's get one more shot of that burger because I need to see it. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate it, and thanks again for everyone watching. Have a good one.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Thanks so much.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to be the first to find out when we have new fun and informative videos for you. Orange County Library System is your place to learn, grow, connect.